So my name is Naveen Reddy. I have experience of around 12 years in the industry working on different projects. Mostly I'm a teacher kind of thing. Instead of calling myself as a YouTuber, I prefer to call a teacher because I love to teach, I love to present the knowledge. And the medium which I use is YouTube maximum time. And nowadays we are also exploring Instagram. So you know what to do? Okay. I am also a salesman. I know how to sell the courses. Not the courses, but the subscriber count and stuff. Anyway, so that's about me. Nothing much. So let's talk about Java here. Okay, so question arises, why understanding the present, the past, and the future of Java is important. In fact, I was talking to one of my friends regarding the PPT itself, what should I talk about to start the session? And he was like, hey, you can talk about the present scenarios and what is happening in the industry. I was like, okay, let's also talk about the past. And he was like, why you have to talk about the past? And then we can go back to our school days. We had this very amazing subject, which we all used to hate, history. How many of you love history? You love history? Seriously? Okay. See, we have all kind of people in the world, right? So we will accept you, don't worry. You're not neglected. Okay, anyway. So we used to have this amazing subject called history in which we used to learn different stories, right? What happened in this era, what happened in this era. And then I used to always think why these are important. Anyway, we have to learn those things which are currently happening, right? But then if you want to understand what will be the future and what we should do at this scenario, if you can go back to your history, you'll understand ये करना चाहिए था, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था. And if you read the history about world wars, now you know how you could have stopped the world war at that point because you know the history, right? So if you know the history, it helps you in present and future as well. And that's why I think knowing the history is important. So let's start with the history, the past basically. Now Java came long back, even before you were born. I'm sure most of you here are 2000, after 2000 born. I feel so jealous of you people. It's so easy for you people to calculate your age. Right? For us, born in 90s, it's difficult nowadays, First, we have to go to a different century. We are not from this century, right? We are from the last century, and that sounds weird actually. But anyway, you were born in 2000 and Java came before you. So Java came in 1995. With this, I have a question. There's also a language called Python, right? So which came first, Python or Java? How many of you say Java came first? I heard some noise. See, that's fine. No one will judge you here, even if you're wrong. Okay, so once again, how many of you think Java came first? Good. I'm proud of you people because you're wrong. The answer is Python. Python came in 89 when I was born. So दुनिया में 2 साहब आए. Anyway, so Python came in 89 and then Java came in 95. But then at that point when Python came into existence, Python was not famous. The reason they created Python is because they wanted to make easy language. Now if you compare the syntax of Java and Python, how many of you know both the languages? Good number here, right? When you compare these two languages, which one you feel is easy? So it's very simple. If you say Python, get out. Why you're sitting here, right? Okay, so that's why Python is easy to start with. But once you make a big project, you can compare the syntax of Java and Python. But again, that's a different debate to talk about. Java came in 1995, and the moment it got launched, it got famous. Reason being, Java has solved a lot of different problems. One of the biggest problems Java solved is the platform dependencies. One of the famous language which we all love, the C language, and we used to call the mother of all the languages. Yes? See, you can be loud, that's fine, I have a mic. Yeah? So you can answer in a good amount of volume there. So basically C came, but the problem with C was it is a platform dependent language. And Java wanted to solve that problem, to make a software platform independent. Simply means write once and debug everywhere. Write once and run anywhere, right? So Java can do that, not with the other languages. And that's why most of the companies preferred to work on Java. And in 1998, one of the biggest companies in the world, I hope Vivek is not here, Microsoft, wanted to buy Java. And they went to Sun Microsystems by saying, hey, we want to buy your language. Sun is like, it's our soul. We can't give you the language. And Microsoft was, okay, in next 2 years, we will have a better language than you. And then they hired a Java developer, and they asked him to write a new language called C#. Unfortunately, in his mind, everything was Java, Java, Java. And when he created C#, and when you compare the two syntax of Java and C#, it's same. Class name, public static void main, and the way you can change, the way you copy assignments from your college, your friends, you make some changes, right? And that's what C# does. C# did, instead of small m for main, let's make it capital M. That's the change I want. Instead of system.out.println, console.writeLine, right? But that's Microsoft. Anyway, so Java was very famous. In year 2000, one of the biggest language in the world was Java, okay, when you were born. And then at that point, one of the privileged thing in the world was to know Java. If you know Java, you're rich. You can buy any car in the world. And now, it's of no use. Because just by knowing Java is of no use. Because everyone in Bangalore knows Java. If you take a stone and if you throw at metro station in Bangalore, any metro station, and if you ask, how many of you know Java, they're like, everyone. So learning a language will not give you advantage, right? But that's how it got famous in year 2000, it got famous. And then, till 2010, everything was going very good for Java. And something happened after that. One of the company thought, hey, it's time to buy the company itself. So Oracle bought Sun Microsystems. And that's where the problem started for Java. Java was doing very well, okay? The problem is, Oracle bought Sun Microsystems. Now, what is this company, Sun Microsystems? Yeah, so they develop different technologies. They develop servers, OS called Solaris. I don't know how many of you heard about it. It's dead now, but yeah, there was a time when people used to work on Solaris. So Sun Microsystems was very famous in terms of server and languages. So Oracle bought Sun, and after a few years, they realized they are not getting the advantage of buying Sun. You know what they did? They made Java paid. I mean, think about this. In the industry, when you are using a technology which was free for a long time, suddenly you make people to buy it. The good thing was, it was not paid for the students. Feeling happy, right? It is paid for the companies who are using the JDK of Oracle. Imagine big companies, they have a lot of money, right? Think about Infosys, TCS, they have a lot of money. They can do this investment for the JDK. But still, there were few startups and few newbies. They are like, hey, we don't want to pay for JDK. Let's use some other technologies. And that's where all these new languages, one of the best language in the world, using which you can do everything. Which one is that? If you want to build a mobile application, that language. If you want to build a web application, that language. If you want to get into AI, that language. If you want to get into any of the application, which language? No, it's JavaScript. Python was good for only one thing, AI. JavaScript said, I can be used everywhere. And one thing to realize, if you can use something everywhere, don't use it. Because that becomes a general language, right? But again, we are not into a language battle here, right? But then industry started moving away from Java towards Node.js because it provides you good solutions, right? Java was paid, Node.js is free, so let's start moving there. If you want to build application in Java, example, let's say you are a startup. Nowadays, everyone wants to be a unicorn, right? How many of you want to build your own startups? Good. Only few. Others, well, a job to mil jaye. Anyway, so if we talk about a lot of startups, they thought, hey, we have an idea. I want to implement this idea. The problem with Java was, not now, the problem with Java was, if you want to build a simple application in Java, it takes 2 days of configuration. And then, third day, you can write your first code. And you're like, it works. On the other hand, in Node.js or Python, day 1, in next 30 minutes, you can write your first working application. And that's where Java lost the battle, and all the other languages, they won the battle because of that stuff. But again, that was the past. The present, let's talk about the present of Java. A lot of things are changing in Java now. See, one of the problems for Java developers is, or let's say, let's talk about this. How many of you have younger siblings in their house here? What's their age, average age? 10? How many of you have siblings or any child who has 10 years age? Okay, 1 or 2. So let's say they come to you by saying, hey, I know you are from IT industry or IT background. I want to learn a language. Suggest me a language. Which language you will suggest them? How many of you will suggest them C language? Okay, Python? Few. JavaScript? Java? बाकी लोगों को क्या है मतलब? They will play akkad bakkad at that point, right? Which one? English. One of the most important language in the world, right? And I've observed this. More than technical skills, your communication skill matters, and that's why I'm on stage. Okay, anyway, where was I was talking about? Okay, for everyone, I have a Ghazni issue. Okay, not with the hairstyle. No. I forgot this stuff in every 15 minutes. So you have to keep me on track. Where was I? I can't make tattoos every day, okay? So, where was I? So which language you will suggest? I would suggest Python. Reason being, when someone is excited to learn something new, they want to see the output the moment you say go. In Python, you can simply say print, hello, you get the output. Wow. In Java, first you have to mention class name. And that's okay for one instance, Problem starts with a new line. Public, even that is okay. Static, void, main. And then that thing starts, String ARGS bracket. I mean, how will you convince someone that this means array when they don't have any idea what is array? And that's why Java being not a beginner-friendly language. Now it is changing. The new syntax coming in 21, which we are going to see now, I guess we have that here. I will show you the new syntax, and it's quite fun. We also have one way to build your project. Let's say if you want to build a web application. Initial days, we used to take 2 days for the configuration. Now, it takes 10 minutes to build your first web application. And don't worry, I will show you that today. Okay. One of the biggest advantage for Java is the community. Like we have Jug. Likewise, we have a lot of communities for Java. Every time you hear the new language, in fact, I'm a big promoter of new languages. If you see my YouTube channel, I make a lot of videos on new programming languages for the views, for the knowledge. So, recently I made few videos on Rust, Mojo, and I strongly believe that Rust is one of the languages which will replace Java. But Rust is not a new language, right? It's been few years now. Why it is still not replacing Java? It's not just about the language features, it's about the community. If you want a particular technology to get famous, we need to build communities. And that's what Aditya was talking about. Why industry makes their projects open source. It's because of the community. Something wrong with the board? Okay. Cool. So Java has a huge community. And it has a very big ecosystem. Whatever you want to build a web application, Java says, we have a tools for that. If you want to build a mobile application, Java says we have a tools for that. For AI also we have few tools, but they're not compared to Python, right? Python is like everything in AI world, right? So yeah. Let's talk about the future. Now currently what is happening is I was okay, right, till this point? Feeling bored?
No.
You know, I had one of the biggest nightmare. So few years back, I guess 2015, I was struggling with some nightmares, and every night I used to dream about something weird stuff. And one was, I'm taking a session, and one by one, people are going outside the room. Yeah, you can come in. This is a good thing, you know. I mean, imagine you're standing on a stage and people are going out. So, you can kill me, that's okay. But don't do that. Okay, so the future. What is happening with Java now is, Java used to get updates in every 2 to 3 years. In fact, I started working when Java was Java 7. It's way back. And then, after 5 years, they got Java 8. So you can imagine, between two versions, there was a huge gap. And now, Java says, don't worry. The problem is, if you have a huge gap between two versions, there's a lot of features come into one particular version, and you focus only on few features. Now, Java says, okay, we will give you every new version in 6 months. I mean, just imagine, the moment you feel comfortable with a new version, they're like, boom, learn this now, right? Good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is because you will find only few new features which you can learn. The bad thing is you have to learn. But the good thing is you have a YouTube channel. Yeah, Telusko. So you can get all the new features there, right? Anyway, so versions are coming in every 6 months now. In September, we are coming up with Java 21. And by any chance, any of you have learned on Java 8, you are 13 versions behind. That sounds weird, right? Don't worry, we hardly have few features which is important, and those features as others. Lambda expression came in Java 8. Then we got Stream API, also came in Java 8, important features. Then we got default methods in the interface. I don't want to talk about this thing because a lot of people get confused with default methods. Switch expressions. We all love switch, right? With the break statement. You know, every time your teacher comes on stage by teaching you something by saying, today we are going to learn about switch, you're like, yay! In switch we have cases, yay! We have break, why? Right, so those are the things we have problems in programming language which we are solving now, not we, people working in the community. We got new thing, text block. We also got something called record. Of course, we cannot talk about everything in this session. We have to spend a 6 months live thing, right, or 1 year to complete this. We also have something called sealed classes. I will show you some images here. And then the last one is important. Okay, I was talking about the new features. So let's focus on each one. Lambda expression. In fact, after this, we have a session from Ganesh, who is going to talk about Lambda expression and functional programming in detail. No, I don't find Ganesh here. If you're searching, when I was searching, everyone was like, where is Ganesh? So don't worry, he will come here. We'll talk about functional programming. Kiran, if you're there, yeah. Can you just also see the next speaker, Ganesh? Okay. Yeah. So this is how you create interface, right? How many of you are not familiar with this particular syntax here? Not familiar. Okay, for you people, अपने कान नाक बंद कर लो 10 मिनट के लिए. Otherwise, I will make you more confused. This is only for those people who know this. Okay, don't get confused. This particular day is not to confuse you; it's to motivate you. And there will be a lot of instance here when you're like, what the hell is this? At that point, you know, अपने दिल को बोलो, all is well. Okay, see, you don't have to worry about something. It's just that these things are there which you have to learn by yourself. I'm just motivating you to explore new things. Cool? Yes? Yes, sir. Okay, so this is basically interface, and the way you instantiate the interface is this. How many of you are familiar with this syntax here? That's cool, that's cool. So this was the older syntax. This is called anonymous inner class. Okay, come back. This is how we used to do it. Okay, the new syntax is this. This is Java 8 lambda expression. Okay, how it works, that's not the topic here. You're not going to understand how it works. We are going to just talk about what it is. How it works, you can just go home. There are a lot of good books available. There are a lot of videos available on Udemy. And for free we have, I'm not saying it. I have some paid people here. Okay, anyway. This is Stream API. So let's say we have a list of numbers here, and then you want to do some operations. And I don't even want to try to explain this. Okay, but this is a shortcut way of doing it. This is functional programming. Again, Ganesh will put more light on this. Let's talk about switch. How many of you are familiar with the older switch syntax? Cool. I'm talking about this particular syntax here. Is the font visible? Properly for last row? Okay, can we switch off the lights? This light. So what I will do is I will stand here. Can you see me? Yes. Okay. So this was the older syntax, and then we used to love everything except that break there, right? The new syntax is this. Just have a look and see if does it make sense. Again, the session is not about how it works. It's about we got a new update. Okay. What if you want to return a value as well? We can't do that in switch. But now we can with the help of switch expression. A switch basically returns a value. JavaScript developers, they will feel very happy because they are used to expressions. Right? They have function which is expression. Why? GUI team, you work in JavaScript or Python?
JavaScript, both, yeah.
Java?
Yeah, no.
See, nothing personal, okay? I love all the languages. I have tutorials on every language on YouTube. Again, promotion. Yeah, okay. Cool. The new thing, sealed classes. I don't want to talk about this, but this is a new syntax. Now this is important. This was the older syntax for main or for first code. This a new one. No class name, just void main. Most important, there is no string args. Right? Now the thing is, a lot of people will say now, who loves Java, they're like, this is wrong, this cannot be done. It's because Java is purely object-oriented programming, right? Everything should be a class. Of course, right? If you want to make an object, first you have to get a class. Where is a class? And that's where they introduce a concept of unnamed class. If you can see, unnamed class. This part is a part of a class behind the scene. You're not making it. Java says, don't worry, I'm here. Okay, cool. So this was what is happening in the industry now. So any questions on the past, present, and future? I just wanted to set the tone because we have amazing session coming up, which is on Spring Framework. Any questions? Okay. Every question will give a chocolate. Come on. You can ask question for a chocolate at least. You can ask my name also. How many? That's a question. Come on, any question? Technical. No question? Good. I was waiting for it. You know, they're doing a lot of things for the class, right? But still, one statement troubles everyone. In Python, you simply say print. In JavaScript, you say console.log. Now, Python is good. So, one of the ways to solve this problem is by doing a static import of out. So, at the top, you simply say import static system.out, then you don't have to mention system.out every time. You simply say out.println. But unfortunately, you can't teach this to a new student. So you're trying to make a simple code and you're saying, let's import it. And they're like, thank you so much. So they might be working on it. Of course, in next 2 versions, they should solve this. So that's the chocolate. कहाँ से था question? I hope I'm a good thrower. No. Yes, one more. Question? Just one second. Let's go from there. Okay, so the question is, from last few versions from Java 8, the number of words are going down, right? You write shorter code, and the question is, in future, will it become Python? The answer is, even if it is not becoming Python, as a developer, you don't even have to write a code. Thanks to ChatGPT or any AI model, you simply say, I want this code, and it will give you the entire code. Okay, sad part. Come back. Let's talk about good things. So in future, they will reduce the code, and most of the boilerplate code which we write in Java now will be reduced. Not exactly like Python, because Python was built to be an easy language. It was not built for the performance-oriented language. Java was built for performance. Now they are trying to come back to the easy language. And Python is also working on that. They're improving their compiler every time so that you will get faster code. And anyway, we have Mojo coming up. How many of you don't know about Mojo? Like a lot of views today. So just go to YouTube and search for Mojo language, or Google, doesn't matter. And get to know about it. The language is coming in future, which is a superset of Python. So if you're a Python developer, it will be easier for you to learn Mojo as well. So that's fine.